Ron.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say it the first time I said Ron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron.
You done messed up, Ron.
YouTube done messed up this time, folks. Guys, the video I'm about to play for you here, I did as a live stream originally, and during my live stream, YouTube's copyright enforcement algorithms took my stream down on two separate occasions during the live stream, and then put the stream back up. So the original live stream is missing a bunch of content. So luckily I did my live stream using StreamYard. So on the back end, I still have a full copy of the version, and that is what I am uploading now. It is currently February 10th. Whenever you see this video go live on my channel, that will be how long it took me to resolve any copyright issues with YouTube. All right, everyone. Here it is. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, I normally would not try to do a live stream at 10 o'clock at night, but I have been planning on doing this Real Housewives of New York episode for, it seems like, a week now. And guys, there is a very real possibility that this live stream is going to be taken down mid-live stream. The copyright enforcers at YouTube, well, copyright enforcement at YouTube is not done by real human beings. It's done by automated systems. And you know, one of the most basic ways to reuse content on YouTube within the bounds of fair use is to do live commentary reaction videos, particularly videos where your image is placed over the image of the thing that you're reacting to. Nobody could ever confuse your work for the original work. And even though this type of live reaction videos are completely protected by fair use, because the copyright enforcement system is automated, you have a lot of companies out there that simply will automatically, they want YouTube to automatically strike all of their content. And then you go through an appeal process, and that can take 30 days. And then you win the process, and then your video goes back up. But by then, nobody's watching your video. So it's one of the reasons I'm doing this at 10 o'clock is I've spent most of the day editing this thing down to 8.5 minutes, the video that we're going to be reacting to. And if my stream gets taken down midstream, then I will know that what I really need to do is pre-record this entire video, upload it to YouTube, not make it public, just upload it. It'll get automatically struck during the upload process. Then I'll do the appeal process. And then once I win the appeal process, I'll make the video public. So let's just do this, guys. When I first heard that Rebecca Minkoff, Scientologist, lifelong Scientologist Rebecca Minkoff, was going to be on the Real Housewives of New York, I was so excited. I have known Rebecca's family since I was 12 or 13 years old. I know both of her parents very well. I know her brother, Max. I know her brother, Yuri. I was in the Sea Org with Max. And Rebecca has not been honest in this TV show about Scientology. So what happened is they had their reunion episode last week, and boy, oh boy, was Scientology the topic of discussion. And did Rebecca just lie her butt off during this entire episode? And it's clear nobody on the show liked her at all. And Andy Cohen pretty much humiliated her at the end of this thing. And I can't wait to share this with you guys. So let's see how long the stream can last before YouTube yanks it down. And sometimes when it gets yanked down, I can't even tell. So anyway, we're just going to see how this goes, guys. I think we're going to go with this view, and let's rock and roll.
Oh, great.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
She's so nice.
You know what? Can we
Not
come
really,
to something?
I mean, you're not actually nice. That's what I've learned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Why do you say she's not nice?
because she called me to complain about me bringing up how are you Jewish and how are you a Scientologist, which was approved language actually from you, but she didn't like the tone in which I said it. And then proceeded to text me some crazy message while I'm at Bravo Fan Fest about to go on stage. We played phone tag for a couple of days, and I decided I just didn't want to really actually talk to her. The first time she texted me about the Scientology stuff, my dad was in that first episode.
Okay, I can't help it. By the way, one of the best ways for me to prevent this thing from having, or to give this video a lesser chance of getting struck, is to not just play the entire thing completely through. So I thought it was interesting, and Andy Cohen's about to clarify. What do you mean approved language? Like, this is supposed to be a reality show. You know, the idea that Rebecca Minkoff gave another member of the cast language that was the approved and acceptable language to ask or talk about Scientology is a little startling for a reality show. Now, I know certain reality shows like the Kardashians, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you have very obviously scripted moments and scenes and, you know, the shenanigans and stuff like this. But, you know, what's the point of bringing a Scientologist onto a reality show without being allowed to say or ask what you want about Scientology? That's honestly a little bit of an embarrassing moment to me for this show, if I do say so myself, because that means there was basically some negotiations done behind the scenes about what people were or were not going to be allowed to say or ask Rebecca on this show. And I think it's a little interesting that Andy seems surprised about this. I mean, isn't Andy one of the exec producers and creators of the show? You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm not quite sure what to make about that, but let's keep going. I'm going to rewind a touch.
And she talked to her. The first time she texted me about the Scientology stuff, my dad was in that first episode, and she goes, wow, you know, I realized that your dad was in that episode and probably was timing for me to complain about the tone of the way you said something.
Okay,
Which
nice.
yeah, that was nice. But then my episode with my dad actually comes out. Not once did you check in on me.
Check
Not
your
one
call log.
You
I have
called
it
me
right
on
here.
Monday when we were still there at BravoCon. The show hadn't aired. I'm not stupid. You are the most self-involved human I have ever met.
Wow.
All you do is
You should
complain to
talk.
everybody on these couches about Scientology, your bags, your brand. You never worry about what we're going through.
Are you I reached
My
out
dad
to you
just
when
died.
your dad
My
was sick. When
abortion
he
episode-
passed, I reached out to you. I sent you a poem.
Yeah.
I checked in on you.
Wow. She sent me a poem.
Okay, now because I wanted this clip to be as short as possible, I did edit out a lot of stuff that was in this episode that just wasn't directly related to Scientology. But you'll notice there that one of the things that she said is, you just complain to everyone in this couch all the time about Scientology, about your bags, about your brand. And one of the scenes that I cut out was a scene when they were actually, I guess, all on a helicopter, and they were actually asking Rebecca what made her want to come on the show. And she said that during COVID, her company's sales crashed by 70% and had not really recovered. And that if she could use coming on the Real Housewives show as an opportunity to promote and revitalize her brand, why not? That's a funny thing to admit when cameras are rolling. And some of the conversation on the couch that I have edited out is one of the women saying to Rebecca, like, you've wasted all of our time on this show. You don't open up, you don't talk about yourself, you don't talk to us about yourself, you don't want us asking you about yourself. We're all here sharing our trauma, our experiences, our grief, our whatever, and you're just here promoting your damn brand, you know? And I think it's one of the things that you're going to see at the end of this whole clip when Andy asks everybody, is there anything else any of you ladies want to ask Rebecca? Dead silence. People don't even say no. They start talking to each other. They start talking to the production assistants. Can I get a soda? Can I get a this? People just pretend like Rebecca's not even in the room. Nobody on this show walked away with a good impression of Rebecca or Scientology. All right, let's keep going.
What do you mean it was approved language? What does that
So
mean?
the Scientology, I understand it was a sensitive topic for her. I said, can I ask you the question? How are you Jewish in a Scientology? Because I don't understand. And she
Right.
said yes. Her being mad at me about that was literally
I
the
was
weirdest
not
thing
mad
ever.
at you about that.
What
You
were you
said
mad
in the
about?
confessional, I don't understand how you can be two things that are so opposed to each other.
I love Becky and I don't want to judge, but I just don't fully understand how you can have two religions that are so different and opposing.
To see that from you was a bit disappointing.
Rebecca,
I
we're
wasn't
supposed to be
mad.
talking about how we feel in the moment of filming. That's what a confessional is.
Has she given you a clear explanation of how she can be Jewish and a Scientologist?
I don't fully understand, but yes, she's explained it. I don't understand.
I know how strong your
Okay. As a former Scientologist and as someone who was basically born and raised in Scientology, I mean, I was actually 4 years old when my mom got into Scientology, but for convenience sake, I'll usually say born and raised. One of my biggest pet peeves is seeing Scientologists intentionally lie to the press, particularly celebrity Scientologists, saying they're Christian or they're Jewish and they're a Scientologist. I can tell you from firsthand experience, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. Juliette Lewis is a Scientology celebrity born and raised in Scientology who will openly say she's Christian. She's lying. There's no such thing as a Scientologist who's a Christian or a practicing Jew. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. Scientology does not believe in a supreme being. Scientology believes that the stories of the world's major religions, like the books of the world's major religions, are things that we, as a civilization on Earth, have been programmed by our alien psychiatrist overlords to have developed over the centuries and the millennia to come up with stories that will keep people on Earth under control. Okay. Scientologists believe that religion, while not a destructive influence on Earth, is an opiate of the masses that, again, is a tool used to control the population. Again, from our alien overlords, our alien psychiatrist overlords that are keeping us trapped here on this prison planet. So Scientologists do not believe in God. They do not believe in Jesus as the Son of God. They do not believe in prophets or anything. You simply can't be. Now, what you do have is in Scientology, you're either culturally Jewish or you're commercially celebrate Christmas. So there are a lot of Jewish Scientologists. There's a lot of Jewish Scientologists who grew up in American Jewish families. There's a lot of Scientologists who are actually from Israel. There's a lot of Israeli Jewish Scientologists, but they're culturally Jewish. They do not practice Judaism. So in Scientology, everyone celebrates Christmas just the way Americans celebrate Christmas as a commercial holiday. Or if you come from a Jewish family, you celebrate Hanukkah. That's it, guys. There's no going to church. There's no going to synagogue. I've never met a Scientologist who was culturally Muslim. It just doesn't exist. And this is one of the lies that Rebecca Minkoff thought she was going to be able to pull off on the Real Housewives of New York. And it's one of the things that has pissed me off the most out of her entire appearance on this show. So watch how they've edited this to show that Rebecca herself is lying about Scientology being a religion.
Jewish faith is.
Yeah.
What do you consider?
I don't understand.
I know how strong your Jewish faith is.
Yeah.
What do you consider your religion?
Both. Judaism is my religion. It's a religious belief. Scientology is basically an applied philosophy. It helps me learn how to communicate better, deal with stress in my life.
Is Scientology a religion?
Yes, it is.
It is.
It's a world recognized religion.
So it's more of a philosophy, not a religion.
Yes.
They just called bullshit in real time on Rebecca Minkoff using her own words that she does not genuinely consider Scientology to be a religion. This is a weird one because Scientologists just since 1993 have been trained, because they have to say this. They've been trained to say, yes, Scientology is a religion. They've been trained to do this for tax reasons. Okay. Before that, L. Ron Hubbard was very much opposed to calling Scientology religion. It's an applied philosophy. Scientologists calling Scientology an applied philosophy is what they actually believe, because they go, it's not a belief system. It's a philosophy and you use it. It's helpful tools to improve your life. It's not a belief system. It doesn't require faith. Scientologists truly believe that Scientology requires no faith. It's purely evidence-based. It's closer to science than it is religion, which is why when you get a Scientologist in a relaxed social setting and you talk to them about, especially one that's pretending to be Christian or Jewish, and you talk to them about, well, how can you, what's this? And what's your religion? And they'd rather call Christianity or Judaism their religion. And then they call Scientology an applied philosophy. But you get them in court, you get them in a court of law, you get them on the stand, or you get them in front of a journalist, and all of a sudden, Scientology is a faith. Scientology is a religion. Scientologists, when they're by themselves, do not call Scientology a faith or a religion. All right, let's keep going.
Kenya from Ontario.
I actually want to show it again
said, ladies,
because
you
it's
all
so
have a
funny.
lot to say about
Yes.
it is.
It's a world recognized religion.
So it's more of a philosophy, not a religion.
Yes.
Kenya from Ontario said, ladies, you all had a lot to say about Scientology in your confessionals.
I have zero comments about anything. I won't even say it. Don't come for me. I just feel like my phones will be tapped. I just know.
From what I have heard, people give up a lot of their salary towards it, which, in Rebecca's case, that's got to be pretty penny.
I feel like I'm talking to like a door-to-door salesman or something that's trying to sell me snake oil.
You still stand by your comments.
Raquel and I had a really nice dinner with Rebecca a few weeks ago, and the topic came up, and we were asking questions. We were both curious.
It's asking a lot of questions.
A lot of questions. I mean, we've probably spent an hour talking about Scientology and trying to understand what Rebecca, what this means to her.
Why didn't you ask those questions when you were filming?
Yeah, why not on camera?
Well, and I think she was very reluctant to discuss it on camera.
I think that there has to be a
Why?
safe space.
So I was not reluctant to discuss it with my friend Erin, who has decided she's not my friend anymore, but we were. I think when it came up with...
But you gave her talking points, it sounds like. Anyone can say anything. You're on a reality show.
Unscripted.
Whether
Guys, I'm so confused. I have to be honest, I've never watched the Real Housewives show. How can the exec producer, creator, and host of the show only be finding out at the reunion episode that no one was allowed to openly talk to Rebecca about Scientology during the filming of the show? I don't understand what's going on here. Do you guys have any explanation for it? Let's keep going.
you have an idea of how you want something to be framed, I mean,
I feel like in general, this subject with me in the show has been disrespected. It is a personal belief. It has helped me overcome depression, anxiety, be a better mom, be a better communicator, deal with the incredibly intense pressure of running a company. And then to get attacked for it, it seems like, we're dealing in a time being attacked, and you know this, and you know this.
Oh my God, she's trying to say we as Jewish people. God, this makes me so mad. It makes me so mad when Scientologists pretend that they're Jewish. Well, I mean, you have to understand, I know the Minkoffs. I've known the Minkoffs since I was 12 years old. I'm 44 years old. I actually twinned up with Rebecca's father on some of our Scientology auditor training out in Los Angeles. Rebecca's mother, Sue Minkoff, has run the Dianetics Say No to Drugs race every year here in Clearwater, Florida, since, again, before I was 12 years old. And the idea that this family is Jewish is a complete lie. And to see her on the show being like, we know we've been under attack. We've been under attack. It's truly, truly disgusting. All right, let's keep going.
What we the intense pressure of running a company, and then to get attacked for it, it seems like, we're dealing in a time being attacked, and you know this, and you know this, for what we believe in.
how were you attacked about Scientology on the show?
I think some of the things said in confessionals really hurt, huh?
Well, I'm curious. I hope I didn't say anything confessional other than the Jewish thing.
I actually want to point something out here. Do you see, Scientologists, particularly when they're on a public stage like this, are professional victims. Everything is bigotry. Everything is religious bigotry. And so she almost gets caught in a little bit of a lie. I've been attacked. I've been attacked on this show. How have you been attacked? Some of the things said in confessionals have been really hurtful. Yeah, that's what's said in confessionals. That's what's said in private. One person talking to a camera. That's not an attack. Someone sharing their thoughts, not to you, not to your face, not making you feel less than, not making you be defensive, not putting you on your heels. That's not an attack. So you see how she did a little bit of a bait and switch there. I've been attacked. I've been attacked. How have you been attacked? Some of the things said in confessionals were really hurtful. I thought that was interesting. And by the way, this is a heavily, heavily edited clip. I've edited this down as much as possible. Let's go back a little bit.
I just
About Scientology on the show.
you know this, and you know this, for what we believe in.
How were you attacked about Scientology on the show?
I think some of the things said in confessionals really hurt, huh?
Well, I'm curious. I hope I didn't say anything confessional other than the Jewish thing.
I just think the tone took...
Tone.
Sorry, I said the word tone
I
again.
just don't get it.
I think what Rebecca is saying, she came in already being judged.
Rather than everyone coming from a point of, I want to know more, it felt like it was coming from a place of, I'm going to bring it up because it's clickbait. And I feel like I want to get you to react. And I just don't feel like anybody with any of their beliefs
But
would
Rebecca,
get
I
that.
think you allowed us the opportunity to
never
even
wanted to do
ask.
that.
On the helicopter, literally, I held your hand and I said, I'm so sorry that airmail article came out. Welcome to this show. It's kind of how can we help you? What can we do? We literally offered support.
I know. And I said to you, you can say no comment because you don't know how to answer these questions.
No,
They
but
can
that's
come to
weird.
me.
That's not how stuff works and no comment. That's creepier. Then you're adding to the creepiness.
I'm not saying no comment. I'm saying for you, if you don't know the answer, come to me.
See, isn't that interesting? She's saying, no. I can answer questions about Scientology, but you're not qualified to, so you should just say no comment. Except it's such a dishonest argument. Other cast members on the show aren't going to be expected or asked to answer questions about Scientology as if they have an expertise on it. They would be asked their opinion about Scientology, which is totally valid because everyone has an opinion, because Scientology is a very controversial, scandalous thing. Because let's not forget, guys, Scientology is a family destroying human trafficking cult. And you know what the Real Housewives of New York missed, and the part of Rebecca Minkoff's story that wasn't told, is that Rebecca's father has been involved in the death of 2 Scientologist women, had his license revoked, had to pay a $10,000 fine. Scientology shipped him out to California, even though his entire life and his practice and his family was here in Clearwater. They're like, you got to get the hell out of Dodge. And then he got his license back and he came back to Clearwater, and he was involved in the death of yet another young Scientologist woman that he's currently being sued for, a woman named Whitney Mills. And her story is horrifying. And David Minkoff, Rebecca's father, misdiagnosed her, medical malpractice. He knew very well that this woman was suffering extreme and severe mental distress to the point where she was a danger to herself. And Rebecca's father withheld proper medical care from her, and she took her own life in a horrific way. All right, let's go back to the clip here. Let's see what's happening.
You didn't want
It's weird. That's not how like stuff works. And like,
Oh, I'm sorry. I realized what I was saying there. No comment. Yeah, people have opinions about Scientology, and if you're a famous Scientologist and you're going on one of these reality TV shows, imagine thinking that you're going to get away with that and act like you're being persecuted and that you're the victim of religious bigotry for people daring to ask you the questions that literally everyone in the world has about Scientology. Again, you know, in some of my recent videos, I've said, Scientology really needs a spokesperson like it used to have with Heber Jensch. Even though it's an impossible, thankless job to defend a family destroying human trafficking cult like Scientology, it really does need a spokesperson who is at least good enough at the job of being a spokesperson that they can go out there and take the arrows and try to put a softer edge on Scientology. It would at least be entertaining and fun. It also needs a celebrity who's capable of dealing with Scientology questions without acting like even asking the question is being persecuted. I thought Rebecca Minkoff was going to be that person for Scientology. And as you can see, guys, she most certainly is not. All right, let's see what else we have here.
and like no comment. That's creepier. Like then you're adding to the creepiness.
I'm not saying no comment. I'm saying for you, if you don't know the answer, come to me.
But you didn't want to
we
discuss
did.
it.
And
I think that was, we had this conversation at dinner. You kept like, nope, don't want to discuss this.
It doesn't matter who asks the question. And
It does. It really does.
sorry, I'm saying for me,
Okay.
because I saw that you felt reluctant at the picnic, and whether that was reacting to Brent or someone else, we were all feeling like we didn't want to bring it up because it felt like it was a closed subject.
What was said that you felt attacked by?
Okay. I feel like when someone calls someone a used car salesman selling snake oil, that's offensive. When she never even bothered to get to know me at all.
I literally asked you at the picnic.
You never bothered to get to know me.
Because
And
you
then
moved
in
to Florida a week before we start filming. You fly into film with us.
You know what? I
You
own
knew
2
for
houses here. I pay taxes here. Most
That's
successful
great,
people
but
live
you-
in multiple places. So don't tell me about where I
Congratulations,
live.
But you don't live in New York.
That's
You
actually
don't.
completely untrue. Are you the location police? Like, who are
No,
you?
I don't even know what that means.
Okay.
But
I'm glad you're tracking my whereabouts.
no, that's probably what you do.
You got a big reaction on
That was clearly a reference to Scientology spying on people. If you guys remember, Scientology had Nicole Kidman's phones tapped so that they could keep tabs on her for Tom Cruise. I mean, Scientology follows and spies on and harasses former members and critics. Even on my channel, I've posted videos, one in particular of me busting a private investigator who'd been camping out on my block outside my neighbor's house for months. And when my neighbors finally told me about this, I was like, what, how come you guys didn't tell me about this sooner. And like, oh, we just assumed that you knew. And I'm like, oh my God, if I knew, I'd be busting this guy on video every single day. And then even when I showed the video to my daughters, they were like, oh, we walk by that car all the time. So yeah, it's not just, even to this present day, Scientology tracks, monitors, follows its critics. To see shade thrown Rebecca's way for being a member of a family destroying human trafficking cult that has people followed and harassed was just absolutely beautiful. But guys, how about, I wonder if Andy Cohen was a little bit embarrassed here to be like, why are you exposing the fact that our cast members don't even live in New York? I love how Rebecca says, I pay taxes here. What she probably means is I pay property taxes on the property that I own here, but she lives in Florida, so she probably doesn't pay income tax in New York. All right, let's keep going. We're almost done.
Mind you coming on the show. Scrappy's on Twitter said, no thanks, stop normalizing cults.
Okay.
What's your reaction to the use of the word cult?
That is a bigoted term.
Okay.
So it's hate speech to like keep calling a religion a cult.
Okay.
And you wouldn't be asking me these questions about Christianity, Muslim, Judaism.
Okay.
She called Islam Muslim. I have to do it again.
So it's hate speech to like keep calling a religion a cult.
Okay.
And you wouldn't be asking me these questions about Christianity, Muslim, Judaism.
Okay.
I'm tired of the attacks, and it's suddenly okay for this religion. It is not.
But I actually want to point out that, you know, there are Christian cults. There are Jewish cults. There are Islamic cults. And I think even the smallest Christian cult in the world would probably still be bigger than Scientology. Remember, guys, there's only about 25 to 35, but it's closer to 25 these days. 25,000 Scientologists in the entire world. So I love that she's like, you wouldn't call Christianity a cult. Yeah, but you would call one of their very kind of fundamentalist offshoots a cult. You wouldn't call Judaism a cult. Yeah, but you would call one of their extremely fundamentalist offshoots a cult. You see what I mean, guys? Scientology is so small. It's so tiny that it is rightfully compared to other, honest to God, cults. Here we go.
Got it. Rebecca Ross from New York City said, did you really expect to come on a reality show as a well-known Scientologist and not talk about it at all?
You know what? I'm happy to talk about it if I feel like I'm in a place where I can have an honest conversation. This also isn't something that you can answer. We spent an hour talking about it, and there was probably still more time to go. Do you have an hour? No. This is not necessarily the format to discuss this.
But also, you had tons of hours. I mean, you were on a trip to Puerto Rico. You were in the Hamptons. I mean,
I'm
you
not
had
here to
nothing
bring
but
it out of the
time.
blue and be like, guys, let's clarify this.
There is a negative connotation around it, and there's so many misleading things. And I told you in the helicopter, maybe, dude, use this as a way to like set some of the record straight. Tell us about like what you just said earlier when we sat down about like you helped me be a better mom. I got mad at depression. That's something. You would not give us anything.
Anyone else have anything they want to address with Rebecca?
All right, real quick. I just had a thought here. You know, it's interesting that she did sort of give some advice to Rebecca of maybe use this platform to really set the record straight and help people understand Scientology. And it occurred to me that, you know, in Scientology, a celebrity who Scientology wants to speak out publicly to the press about Scientology is very, very, very heavily coached and trained by the Celebrity Center's president's office on how to do that, how to answer questions, how to explain things. And Rebecca is, in Scientology, a relatively low-level celebrity. Even someone as high-level as Tom Cruise, who has probably had hundreds of hours of coaching and training on how to deal with media questions about Scientology, was still unbelievably inept at explaining Scientology in a way that made sense to anybody. And it's funny, if you go back and look at any of Tom Cruise's appearances, how does Tom try to explain Scientology? He tries to talk about how it helps with literacy. What does that have to do with religion? He talks about how it helps with criminal reform. And you go, what does that have to do with religion? Other than finding Jesus and not wanting to commit crimes. It helps with get people off of drugs. And you go, what does that have to do with religion? And, you know, it's like common sense tools that you can apply in your life. And you go, well, what does that have to do with religion? So even the most highly trained Scientology celebrity PR spokespeople are absolutely horrible at explaining Scientology. And one of the reasons is they don't really think of Scientology as a religion. And they don't really want you to think of it as a religion. They want you to think of it as an applied philosophy, but they don't really know how to explain why it's a religion or why you should think of it as a religion. And the answer is because the only reason Scientology pretends to be a religion is for tax purposes. All right, let's keep going. This is the very end where she just gets humiliated here.
Else have anything they
Impression. That's something. You would not give us anything.
anyone else have anything they want to address with Rebecca?
That's all, folks.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Rebecca, thank you for joining us. More from the Housewives of New York City in a moment. Easy peasy.
Wow, quick and dirty.
Can I request a Diet Coke?
Do I
Do anything for a
do I
Diet
wait
Coke.
here?
Rebecca wants to know, does she exit?
yeah,
would
what
you
do I
like
do
her
here?
to do? Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know if I had to get the mic.
Can we get one quick touch up?
Can I get a Diet Coke? Can I get a Diet Coke? Is that anybody?
Peace out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Rebecca.
That was awkward.
Well, guys, I looked like the stream got taken down and then it got put back up. So it looks like we're in pretty good shape. Let's see. Let me just double check if this stream is actually still going. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let me see. What's the right stream that I'm looking at? Oh, boy, are we down? Hold on. Give me a sec. Nope, we're back. Okay, good. Well, it worked. It worked. We'll see if I get any emails from YouTube about it. Yes. So I'll tell you what, while we're here, I did pull up an article from the Underground Bunker where some of this information was shared from Quaylen McDaniel. I'll just read from this. The blog post says, it surprised us to see Rebecca Minkoff be so public about her involvement with such an effort, I think talking about the show, but we were grateful to Quaylen McDaniel for some insight about the Minkoff family. Quote, Rebecca's involvement has increased over the years. She wasn't active until she got famous. Now Scientology has her deep in their pocket, but she didn't start that way. Her brother, Yuri Minkoff, came on as her CEO. He's been a longtime spy for Scientology's Office of Special Affairs, trying to make up the damage his dad caused the church. Okay, the damage caused by Yuri and Rebecca's father, quack physician Dr. David Minkoff, is well known. He lost his medical license for a year and had to pay a $10,000 fine after it was found that he had prescribed sedatives to Lisa McPherson without actually examining her during the fateful 17 days when Lisa was held in an introspection rundown at the Fort Harrison Hotel, which resulted in her death. Lisa McPherson's abuse and sad end was one of Scientology's biggest public relations disasters of all time. Is that what also motivated Rebecca to be so visible in promoting Scientology? Was she trying to make up the damage done by her father? The two of them showed up in a 2019 issue of Scientology's Impact magazine, posing with a trophy which indicated that they had reached Diamond Meritorious, which means they donated at least $5 million to the International Association of Scientologists. Okay, so in the middle top of this, we have David and Sue Minkoff. Over to the left, we have Yuri Minkoff and his wife. Over to the right, we have Rebecca Minkoff, and next to Rebecca is her brother, Max Minkoff, who the last I knew was a member of Scientology's Sea Organization, but it's always possible he's left the Sea Org. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, we'll just keep reading a little bit more here. There's simply no question that Rebecca Minkoff has been an important and consistent celebrity supporter of Scientology for many years, that she understands what is really going on in the organization, and that she has reason to try and undo some of the damage done by the bad publicity brought on Scientology by her father's involvement in the Lisa McPherson saga. But what made the timing of her Real Housewives of New York involvement so interesting was that at the same time this show is airing, her father is involved in yet another death of a Scientologist, this time the horrific and tragic 2022 suicide of Whitney Mills. Whitney's mother is suing Scientology and David Minkoff, saying that Whitney Mills, 40 years old, was undergoing severe mental health problems, but Scientology's anti-psychiatry stance not only prevented her from getting proper care, she was also misdiagnosed by David Minkoff, which led directly to her suicide. None of that was brought up during this season of Real Housewives of New York. Nothing about Rebecca's donations, nothing about her involvement with Scientology's quack drug ideas, nothing about her father's quack medical practices or his involvement in the Lisa McPherson matter or the Whitney Mills case. Yes, indeed. Dr. David Minkoff, it seems like so Scientologists go to him for everything. And he basically diagnoses, I'm exaggerating here, right? I'm exaggerating a little bit. He basically diagnoses everyone with Lyme disease. And he has protocols that he claims will cure you of your Lyme disease. Now, most people know that Scientologists do not believe in mental health disorders. They do not believe in psychiatry. They do not believe in psychology. They do not believe in any type of mental health other than Scientology itself. So if any Scientologists are exhibiting any mental health type problems, Dr. Minkoff says it's because of Lyme disease. So not only did he diagnose Whitney Mills with Lyme disease that she did not have, but it is my understanding that he also diagnosed her with ovarian cancer. And it turns out she didn't have that either. And there are actually text messages. Guys, I've actually done a few videos about Whitney Mills. If you guys want to search Whitney Mills, growing up in Scientology, you'll see the videos. I've covered it extensively. The text messages between Whitney Mills and Dr. David Minkoff, where she is begging for help. And he is basically telling her to suck it up and do more Scientology. It is blatant medical malpractice, in my opinion. And the fact that he's involved in the death of yet another young Scientologist is, to me, an example of how Scientology is more than just a wacky belief system. It is dangerous. It is destructive. Scientologists being prevented from getting professional mental health care when they need it has resulted in those Scientologists not only taking their own lives, but in taking the lives of others. Scientology really is a dangerous, family-destroying human trafficking cult. And Rebecca Minkoff's family is an example of that fact. And that is what was not covered on The Real Housewives of New York. All right, everyone. Let's see. There was one question here I wanted to respond to. Aaron, have you seen the clip of Kirstie Alley in the Big Brother house being asked by a housemate about Scientology? She just keeps saying, read a book about it. It's funny. Yes. That was another example of a celebrity, Kirstie Alley, who received extensive training from Scientology's Celebrity Center's president's office on how to deal with the press. And it's actually L. Ron Hubbard himself who told Scientologists, don't answer people's questions about Scientology. Tell them to read a book about it. He said, I've already answered everyone's questions about Scientology in the books. You won't be able to answer their questions better than I can. Don't waste your time trying to answer people's questions about Scientology. Just tell them to read a book about it. Now, that might make sense if you're working in a Scientology organization and you have a book to sell them. But if you're Kirstie Alley and you're a celebrity and you're on a TV show and someone's asking you about Scientology, and you, as someone who's been a Scientologist for decades, can't just answer the question, it makes you look ridiculous, and it makes Scientology look fishy, and it makes it look like a secretive cult, which is basically what it is. So good job, Kirstie. You helped get the truth out about Scientology. It's a secretive, family-destroying human trafficking cult. All right, everyone. It looks like the stream was a success. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end. And I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here. Bye.